Okay, so this is the fourth video of Java tutorial. In the previous video, we have discussed about the basics of Java, and in this tutorial, we will discuss about few more things like encapsulation, abstraction, and interface, and also we will discuss about the super keyword, final keyword. And in the previous sessions, we have discussed about the constructor in inheritance and polymorphism and this keyword. So let's start with the super keyword. So suppose that there is a class. Okay, now suppose for example there is a class A and this have a variable like int x is equal to 10. Okay, and also we have a another class like suppose that it have a method like okay, suppose that it have a method like this one. It is hanging. So I have a class, inside that there is a variable and then we have a method, and now it says that I am inside G method. Okay, now suppose that there is another class like a class B. Okay, and this class have again a variable like int x is equal to 20. Okay, and again it have a method like public void h, and it have again some command like without control space like this one. Value of, you can say I am inside h method of B class. Now suppose there is a parent-child relationship between A and B class by extends keyword. Okay, so now what we need to do? We just need to create a object of my B class because B class is a child class, and by using this object we can access all the methods of B class and A class. Okay, concept is very similar or very simple. Suppose that whatever code it is written inside A, it will come inside B because we have extended class A, and by using the object of B class we can access each and everything. But we are not able to access the integer x because whenever we will try to access this one, it will print the value of my child class. We will not able to access this parent class variable x. Okay, let's see. Like suppose that we are saying that without control space value of x test. Okay, suppose that this is condition, and here you are just fetching the value of x. Okay, so let's run this program. You will see that the value of x will be fetched out. Let me clear this one first. Okay, now I will run this program. So I will say that run as a Java application. You can see the value of x is 20, means it has been printed out. Now I want to access the value of this one. So how it will be done? So wherever you are making a relationship like this way, extend keyword. So here you can access the your parent members by using the super keyword. Suppose that you will write this out, value of x of class A. So how you can access this one? So in your child class, you can use your super keyword. Always remember it's a keyword. So S will be small and this one. So you can see that it will appear like X of class A. Okay, so use this one. So by using this super keyword, you can just access the member of your just parent class. Okay, so in this way, you can use your super keyword. Okay, like in my previous tutorial I have word I have discussed about the keyword of I have discussed about the this keyword. Okay, so now we are discussing about super keyword. So this is the use of super keyword when there is a child and parent relationship and child and parent have both the same variable but different value, and now you want to access your just parent class element, then you can use the super keyword in this way. So you will see the result that your parent class member will be accessed. Okay. Now value of x of class A is 10 and in the B class it's what 20. Okay. So this is the way that you can access the value. Okay. Now let's work on the final keyword. Why I'm covering these all keywords so that you can get a more close view, or you can identify what is the difference between these all keywords. Okay, suppose that there is a final x, final x. Okay, so I have created a final integer x and I have declared it as a 10. Okay, now I can have a, suppose that there is a no parent child relationship. Let me remove this one, this way. Okay, now in another class again I have the integer x. Okay, so suppose that inside this method here I am saying that int x is equal to 20. Okay, and I am saying that value of x in g method. Try to understand what I am doing here. I have initialized integer as a final. Okay, now I am again initialize. This is a kind of interview question that interviewer will try to confuse you in such kind of scenario. That's why I am covering these all things. So again you have the integer x is equal to 20. Now what will happen if you will go with this way? So to access the A class member, I will create the object of A class by using new operator this way, and I will access the method of my A class. Again for the B class, I will create the object of B class and I will access the members of my B class or the methods of my B class. Okay, so it's a simple, no problem. Let me run this one. Okay, so value of Z is equal to 20 because I have given it. Let me make it a little bit different, like 50. Okay, now let me run this one. So you have seen that value of x inside the g is 50, but already we have defined it as a final. But we are able to access, we are able to change this value here. So always remember, when you are defining something as a final, then you are not actually changing the value here because the value, the integer x, it have scope inside this method only. Okay, but the final have the scope in your complete class. Means if in your you if you have much more methods, but you are not allowed to do something like this one. Suppose that this is y. Okay, and now you are doing something like this one. X is equal to y. You can see there is a compile time error. Okay, this one, it will say remove your final modifier. So whenever you have assigned something as a final, you cannot change the value of this x by this way. Okay, but although you can assign, you can in a local variable, you can give the value this way. So always remember in this type of scenario, interviewer will try to confuse you. So here I have defined the value of x is equal to 10. So no other value of other variable it will not accept anyhow. Okay, so your program will not run. Basically, there will be compile time error. Now let's move to the other part. For example, this class have a final method like final, and there is a final method, and again I have a same method in this class, and now I have a parent child relationship extend a class. Now, so you can see in a parent child relationship we cannot override the method because it is written in a final keyword. So there will be a compile time error that you are not allowed to override your method. Overriding, in my previous tutorial I have discussed that what is the overriding, how we used to create the object using the casting. Okay, so this is the beauty of the final keyword, that your method cannot be overridden. Now let's change it to some other thing like make your class final. Okay, now I am declaring a class as a final. So you will see the error here. So if you are making a class final, then it cannot be extended to other class. Okay, so this is the main thing that I have discussed about. You can say the final keyword and super keyword. Basically, you will use these all things in your Selenium or other language of programming. These are the small things, but in many cases that you want to access the superclass value, then you will use the super keyword. You are creating some method and you don't want that it will get overridden, then you will use final keyword. And also this you will use too much in your programming. That's why I have covered these all things in the initial state. Now let's work on the encapsulation. Okay, so what does this mean by the encapsulation? Let's it's no issue. So let me move with the encapsulation. So as the name is saying, encapsulation means that you can hide your data from the user. How you can hide the data from the user? Means as the name says that encapsulation means the capsule that we have. Suppose that there is a capsule in the market. So it will have a combination of things inside this. There are listed some medicines inside this one. Okay, combination of the medicine, and and the outer person don't know what the medicine is inside here. He will just take the medicine and then this layer will disappear and the medicine will work out. Okay, so in the real world example, suppose that you are sending a text message to your friend. So you are just typing the message in your mobile and you are just pressing the send key. Okay, now your friend is receiving that the same message, but actually what is happening here, your message is getting breaks in the small packet. Now it is going to the some network, then it is encoded and transferred to the some medium, then again another network is capturing your packages and he is again decoding it and he is converting a readable format in your friend's mobile. So this is the complete hierarchy of the SMS, but we are not required to understand these all complete hierarchy. Okay, so this is the way that we can hide the data from the end user. So we can make our code read only, write only by using the encapsulation. As earlier I have told you, you do not need to work or you do not need to think about the output that we can perform or we can achieve same kind of the output by different scenarios, but it's a kind of concept that you have to understand. So definition is something like that. Encapsulation in Java is a process, and you can say that used to wrapping the code, and you can say that you are required. You can wrap your complete code in a single unit. Okay, as a capsule in the market work. Okay, so the example, always remember the example is Java Beans. Okay, for the fully encapsulated class. Now the theory part you will get from uh, the main theory is something like that. You can make your class read only, write only. You can hide the data, and also you can easily access something from. Now. Suppose that I will create a class, okay, and I will make its member as a private. So you will see that in the private, which as I told in the first class, in the access specifier, that if there is a private member, then we cannot access from outside of the class. Okay, so how it can be done? So let's move on the encapsulation. Okay, so suppose that there is a class. Uh, Suppose that there is a class. Okay, again I will make it as a, and suppose that it has a private string. Private spelling is wrong. Private string, and suppose that it have a string as a name. Okay, now as we know that it is a private, so we cannot access it from the outside of the class. Okay, so how we will access these all things from outside of the class? So to do this one, we have the getter and setter. Okay, by using the getter and setter, we can achieve the encapsulation. Okay, now we will create a getter and setter method for this class. Also, you will get, suppose that this is your project. Let me expand this one. So you will also get a getter setter method for your class. You will right click here. Let me right click this one. So let me right click this one, and also you will see that here in the source, I think, generate getter and setter. So from here you can also directly get the getter and setter. So I will write the code for getter and setter. So suppose that you have a private member in your class, and now you first of all you have to create, you can say, getter and setter method. So public string get name. Now we will say it as string, and I will say it as a return name, because we are using the, you can say, string return type, so we have to return some value. Okay, now we will have one more thing like a setter method we will have. Okay, so we will create a method public void set name, and we will say that string name. Again we will move with the in this way, like this dot name is equal to name. Okay, so what does this mean? So whenever we are creating a private member in a class and we want to access it from the outside of the class, then we have to create a getter and setter method by using this one. This could always be similar because it's a kind of concept. Okay, so now if you want to implement this one in your in your some other class or from outside of the class, so you can access this one by using creating the object of the class. So I will create the object of my class in this way, and then we will access the member as, first of all I have to set the name. Okay, so I will call the method set name, and I will set name as a, now I will print the name as result. So the name is obj dot get name. Okay, so this is the way that we will use getter and setter, or we will achieve the encapsulation. Suppose that we are having a private member in a class, so we have to create the get and setter here, and then we can access this one by using this. So this is a kind of concept. Okay, give me 1 minute. ठीक है, so ये छोटा सा concept, this is a small concept of the encapsulation that we will achieve encapsulation in the Java. It is basically it is not too much useful that we will not work too much in you can say in our actual Selenium project, but it may be a good intro question. What will be the intro question? The question will be something like this one. Ki, I want to make class read only. Then how it will be done? As we know that by using the you can say encapsulation, we can make our class methods or read only, or we can make our members to read only or write only. So how it will be done? So to achieve the read only, just you need to give the value from here, like I am giving my name like Chandan. Okay, now I will not give the set name method over here. Okay, so you can just read the value of the variable. So in this way, you can make your class read only. Okay. So when you are making the class as read only, so for the private member, you have to give the value at the main class, or you can say at the super class. Okay. So this is the concept of the encapsulation. Okay. So we will work on the next topic, like it was the abstraction. No, before starting the abstraction, we will work on the inheritance. We have discussed about the inheritance in my previous class. Now there is a very good thing we will discuss today, like multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. Then the next topic will become easy. So suppose that we have a class A, this one, and if it has a method like a public void G. Okay. So inside this method, suppose that I have a print statement, and it printing that inside this is inside G method of class A. Okay. Now suppose again I have a class B. Now again I have a method like a public void H. Okay. So inheritance I have discussed about in my previous tutorial. Now I am working much more so that you will get clear about the inheritance concept. And also there is a good interview question. What does this mean by the multi-level of inheritance? We will cover both of these things here. So suppose that again we just make a one more class to understand it better. So suppose that we have the three classes. Okay, we have the three classes, and three classes have a different method inside them. Okay, suppose that we have a three class A, B, C, and each class have a different method. Now they have the parent-child relationship in this way. Extend A. Okay, means B class is extending the A class. Now extends extends B. Okay, so actually what is happening here? Suppose that this is a super class. Now all the members and methods of the super class will come inside the B class. Why? Because we have established a relationship between child and parent relationship by using extend keyword. Again, whatever inside the B class will come inside of the C class. Okay, so what we need to do here, we just create the object of C class, and we will access all the things which is either inside A class or either inside B class. Okay, so by using this object, you can see we can access method G. By using this object, we can method access H, and we can also method of I. So there is a no problem. Okay, I will run the program and I will get the output. Okay, so this thing is known as the multi-level of the inheritance. There is a no problem. Simple concept. All the things of the parent class will come inside the child class, and then all the things of the child class will come of the super child class. Now, suppose that it have a constructor like A, okay, this one, and it is say that there is a method or there is a statement like sys out control space. I am inside constructor of a class. Then what will happen? Let me run this one. So in this way, the interviewer will ask you the question that if you have this one, so you can say that constructor will also be called in case of the parent-child relationship. Okay, now let's make it little bit more different. Like there is this one class like A class, and it is being extended by B class, and again A class is being extended by the C class. So now we have to create two objects. First object for the C class, and then second object for the B class. Okay, like new B, this way. So now we can access all the member of this one. Okay, so let me run this one. I am not accessing. So you can say that in this case the constructor of A class will be called because it is being inherited by two class. So whenever the object will be created, it will be done. So by using the C class object, you can access all the methods of your C class, and you can access all your methods of the A class. Again, in the B class object, you can access all the method of the B class, and also you can access all the methods of G class. Okay, so it's a very simple concept. So we can achieve multi-level of inheritance. Output will be same. Okay, we can achieve multi-level of inheritance in Java. Means there is a class, it is being extended by some other class. Then what does this mean by the diamond problem? The diamond problem is something like this one. Suppose that there is a class, a super class is here. Okay, now there is a two child class. Okay, now these two child class is being here. There is some relationship like this one. This is a parent class, they are extending to this one, they are extending to this one. Now both are extending to this one. So when such kind of problem will appear, it is known as the diamond class. For example, this is a parent class. Okay, now it is being inherited by your child 1 and child 2. Child 1 and child 2. Okay, now there is also a super child class, or you can say the grand child class. So it cannot have two parents. Okay, in a general word, a son cannot have a multiple parent. It have a single mother and a single father. So this kind of relation, either it will extend this one, either it will extend this one. So Java do not allow multiple inheritance. So what does this mean? How we will implement this one here? Suppose that there is a class, and then we cannot do like this one, A comma B. Okay, so you can see there is a compile time error. So this is known as the multiple inheritance. It is known as. So it will give you error that you cannot complete, you cannot do multiple inheritance. Okay, so for a child there will be a single parent. So this is the problem is known as the multiple inheritance is not allowed in the Java, or also known as the diamond problem. You can explain these all things in your tutorial or in your interview. Now let's discuss about a small part of the abstraction and interface, and much more deep about the abstraction and interface we will discuss in next tutorial. Okay, so suppose, let me remove this one, all the things. Let me clear this one. Okay, now suppose you have abstraction. What does this mean by the abstraction? means you can achieve the abstraction by two way. Okay, just remember what I'm trying to say. You can achieve the abstraction by two way, means abstraction can be achieved by two way. First way is abstract keyword, abstract keyword. Second thing, by using the interface. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, when you will abstract, you will use abstract keyword for any method, for any class, so you can achieve the abstraction up to 0, from 0 to 100% you can achieve abstraction. But if you will use the interface, then you will achieve the abstraction up to the 100%. Means by using the interface you will achieve the abstraction 100% exactly. But if in a case where you don't want the 100% abstraction, then you will use the concept of the abstract keyword. Okay, so let's discuss about these all things, like what is the abstract class, and you can say what is the non-abstract class. So basically it is a kind of pattern, a development pattern or a designing pattern, you can say. For example, that in my coding I want something that for example in our SFMC project we want to create a code something like that, that an email can be sent from a different applications, like from, it can be also sent from the DS, it can also from send the reports from the SF send, we can send the email. So from the different modules we can send the email to the subscriber. So at the top level I want to make the name of the method like public void send email. So I want that everyone should keep this name. Okay, suppose that we are working in a different module. Okay, but I want everyone to keep the method name as a send email. Okay, so what I will do, I will just give a naming convention at the top level. So whenever other person will come to with their module, suppose that I am working on the report module, so I will use this method name and I will create the body as per my need. Now another person like Vikram is working some other module. Okay, he again want to send the email, so he will take his method name as a send email, but body of the method will be different for him because his module have the different operation. But actually what is happening, we are sending the email. Okay, so in such kind of scenario we will just use to take the benefits of the abstraction. Okay, so how it can be done? So uh, suppose that there is a class, suppose, okay, like a employee class. Okay, inside a employee class, suppose that I have a method like a abstract public void salary. Okay, I have this method, so you will see there is a error. Okay, why there is a error? Because when any member of a class will have the abstract class, then the class will be declared as a abstract class. Okay, I have that already taken by the name. Okay, no issue, I will change the name. So suppose that there is a abstract class I have created at the top level. So other person when they will come, they will use this method and they will create the body as per his need. For example, that public, there is a class like a script designer class or the coder class. So what they will do, they will just this extend this employee class, and they will, it will for the unimplemented method. So let me click on this one, and they will create the body of this method. Okay, as per their need. Okay, so this is the concept of the abstraction. They will create the body as per his need. Okay, this is created by me on my need, but they have to take the method name similar whatever say. Now again a person will come, he will also extend this class, and again he will take the method name as the same, but the body will be different. So this is the way that we will work on the abstraction. About much more about the abstraction and interface, we will work tomorrow. So it's enough for today. If anybody have any question, feel free to ask me.